So yeah, I am just out here in the wild west of all of this kind of stuff. Most of you, I'm assuming, will watch this on the replay, but I'm hoping that you guys like it. Hi, I'm Mari Day. I have a gigantic collection of makeup brushes. Don't know why. I just kind of like the different sizes and textures and styles and all sorts. If you guys are commenting or writing anything in the chat, I'm not gonna know because I can't see, because like I said, this is like my first time doing it like this. But I will make sure to answer anything afterwards. So today what I'm doing is I have a brand new set of makeup brushes that I got from YESSTYLE. And this is from the brand, it said AME on the site, but then when I got them, they were called like Yutong Beauté. But I was very interested in these because, one, I thought they looked very, very pretty and much more like beautifully crafted than the ones that you see on like the Japanese style brushes. It felt like it was more like that rather than like these kinds of plastic, super, super cheapy ones. And these are supposed to be natural hair. I don't have a huge amount of natural hair for like various different reasons. That's another video, but I do have some. And I wanted to kind of see if what the hype was. And I wanted to kind of see if like, can they do that? Can they actually like create a inexpensive, high quality natural hair brush set? If you've never used a brush set like this before, or if maybe you've used something like Zoeva, that's the one that I have the most experience with natural, well, not the most experience, but I have a lot of Zoeva brushes in terms of natural hair, and I haven't always been a fan. Some of them are fantastic. Some of them are really, really scratchy. It's a whole thing. But with these ones, I was like, I need to find out, because this didn't seem like your average kind of like cheap Amazon, multi-pack brush set. So I thought I'd come on here, do this kind of thing, the way that the things are done, show you guys the set, but more importantly, kind of like say to you, how do I assess a set? I mean, I'm here in the full nude, like nothing here going on. My cat ears are on, and I'm like, you know what, feeling it. I'm gonna do a full face for you guys, hopefully using every single brush. I'm gonna make the attempt to do that and do a full beat, show you guys sort of each brush, but also like, how do I assess it? What do I look for? What's a good brush? What's a bad brush? And we'll see if this bitch can even accomplish that on a freaking phone. Uh, yeah, before I lose the light and it becomes hot trash. So hopefully you guys will come and stick around. We'll see if I can do this. But yeah, so here's the set. So the set comes with 15 brushes. And it came with a whole pack of brush guards. That part I actually really appreciate. But more importantly is that I have a lot of these brush guards. If you've never used these, they're amazing, not just for like storing your brushes, but if you have like your brushes come out just the same way that, you set your hair with rollers or whatever. It's like rollers for brushes. Do you know what I mean? It keeps the brushes like safe and like smooth when with the bristles and everything like that. Plus, it also, it's like I like to use them when I wash my brushes, especially the natural hair ones, especially to kind of like put it in there to ensure that the shape stays. And I have had way less problems with the brushes kind of being like and doing that and kind of being all scratchy and itchy. So they also can be really, really good if you're trying to kind of like fix your brushes or like treat them or whatever, or you're traveling with them, for example. They're great. They're multi-purpose and they're really easy. But the ones that I have are all like this shape, which are like the really, really big ones. I'll pull one out for you guys. Sorry if anybody doesn't like the plastic sounds and stuff like that, but this is one that's been used. So you can see like you use it like this, right? You put it in there. And by the way, all of these came in, oof, goodness me. So all of these came like wrapped up in plastic, kind of double, triple layered, didn't like that, but in a box. And then each one of them, though, the big brushes came with brush guards on them. And I actually appreciate that because it means that like it's less likely that the brush is going to kind of get like frayed in transit. And let's be honest, doing that is way better than basically putting them in like the huge things of hard plastic to keep them from doing that, like a lot of other brands do. So you sort of just slide it down. It's like that. And I do this when the brush is wet, and I hang it from a Benjabel. It's this thing here. You know what I mean? I just sort of stick it like that. And it's absolutely wonderful. It dries the brush. It's all really, really good. Blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to the eye brushes, right? Like this is so big. Like how are you gonna keep an eye brush from splaying and doing all of that? So I know that they do sell them, but it was like I didn't have them. It came with a free set of these, which I'm gonna open now. And these are the eye brush guards. And they seem to be like they're a lot smaller than the other ones. So it's like I haven't used them yet, but oh my goodness, it's like Chinese. It's like I don't want to say it because it feels like it's not nice anymore. But it's kind of like it feels like that toy from a kid that you put your fingers in. Oh, ha, 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 ha. Look at that! Whoop! That didn't happen. Apologies to anyone wearing headphones. Okay, so so I'm putting it in like this. You know what I mean? You see that, you see that, you see that. So what I'm probably going to do with these is cut them and then use them for eye brushes. And so I was actually excited about that because I'm a massive brush nerd. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't just like the biggest brush nerd. I love different types of brushes, different shapes of brushes. That's what I'm interested in. I really don't care about what people say. This is the best. You got to do this. Like, I really don't care. And at the minute, I might get like some of the like Surratt and Chikuhodo, Hakuhodo brushes at some point, especially if like my channel kind of takes off for brushes. But like at the minute, I'm kind of like, meh, like I'm not that interested in it because even if it is really, really high quality, I would rather use that money to try other uniquely shaped brushes and to kind of try to get the absolute best of a single brush when I have tons of brushes that no, they might not be the absolute best, but they're really freaking good. And I know that they are because I've tested them against other stuff. So I would rather have the variety personally, like the ability to kind of like test it and curate it and make it really, really like and kind of quirky and weird and have character. You know what I mean? Rather than having like, this is the best. That's not really me. So I'm the kind of person where it's like, yeah, I can enjoy fancy food. I love fancy food. I am kind of actually bougie, but I'd prefer to eat it in like the back alley, you know, hole in the wall kind of a place in terms of like the environment of it. So anyway, but yeah, so I can't wait to try those because they're the first like small tiny ones I've had. And then so when I first opened these up, I was like, the first thing I noticed is these are soft. And not only are they soft, they're like super duper crazy soft. So these are like synthetic soft is what I'm trying to get at. So clearly whatever kind of hair that they've used, and it doesn't actually say, I never saw anything, it just said natural bristles. And I'm gonna be able to tell if they are pretty quickly. Usually what I do is I sniff them. I don't care if it looks weird. When you sniff a brush, like for example, hair is hair, but if you really want to know, you get the brush wet. And I don't want to do that because it's the first impression thing, but the brush, you get the brush wet and you sniff your brush because it doesn't matter what kind of brush it is. If it's a natural hair brush, it's going to have a smell when it's wet. Kind of like wet dog, but not smelly, like not like gross wet dog. Like it's just think that's the reference, right? Synthetic hairs are not going to have any difference in smell if they're wet versus dry. Natural hairs do. That's the test, if you will. So yeah, but all of these seemed super crazy soft, like super duper crazy soft. Now that will depend on the quality of how these perform. So we'll start performing it. So my goal is I'm just going to dump these. I'm going to show you guys each one before I use it and like make it dirty, but I'm just going to dump these in my lap, pull out each one, use it, keep going, doing my thing. Oh, so how I operate is I have a pack of towels and things like that. These are like tea towels. I'm in the UK. These are tea towels, and basically I put this on my lap. Whoop! Did I just lose a brush? Oh no. That might have been hilarious, but oh no, now I'm kind of like, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I did lose a brush. Ah! Okay, wait, hold on. Sorry. Technical difficulties, people. I'm really sorry. Give me a minute. I need to find out where that brush is. Ah, ha, 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 ha. I found it. Okay, so yeah. I have a towel that I keep on my lap. I don't really use a switch. The Sigma switch, I did try that out, but personally, I actually like the towel thing mainly because of ease. Like you use the Sigma switch and you use it once or twice, and then you have to wash it. So that's no different than a towel. And the towels, it's like I could just have those. I have a method of doing all of this with just like throwing it in the wash with everything else that I do, that I have like my makeup. I have like a makeup wash thing of how I do all of that stuff, like where I put these things in and stuff like that. It's just sort of like in with that. And I have a whole bunch of like old tea towels that I have kind of like stocked up to just to be for my makeup. So basically that's kind of how I like to do it. So I'm just going to pull a brush. I will try to remember to show you guys and tell you the names and whatever of the brush before I use it. And hopefully not like totally do this and be a mess. But we're going to start off with the base. And I'm going to try not to like sing songs about every single thing. But yes, this is, oh, by the way, so these are short-handled brushes, but the wood on this is beautiful. It is incredibly polished. It is this really gorgeous dark wood. No idea if it's dyed or anything like that. But this is a sculpt I have not seen in very many cheaper styled makeup brushes that I've had over the years. So I will say that this definitely feels, in terms of design, much more like they are trying to have like a moment. So this is the like angled one. Sorry, this was me testing makeup. This is like the angled thing. These are very, very soft. I'm hoping that these ones are the synthetic, but obviously this one's trying to be like the BK Beauty, you know, sort of style makeup brush, which is actually the kind of cut I prefer in general nowadays. But I'm going to throw on some base first. Oh, by the way, while I'm doing all of this, I have like 2 really giant hauls that I want to film to kind of post. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be using a lot of products that aren't even probably on the market anymore. So FYI, I'm not really going to be sharing the products I'm using because it's kind of pointless. But also it's like, can we normalize just using all of the stuff in our makeup kits, like even if it's not on sale and new? Like, I would like to do that, please. And it's not really about like whether or not you guys can buy it. Like, if you guys want something that's similar, I can tell you about 5 that I'm sure are great. I can recommend all the things, but like I want to use the stuff because it's like I don't want the landfills just filled of makeup that's like, but it's but according to the thing, even though it still works, smells the same, and feels exactly as it did when I first bought it, it says it's expired. It's like that's not my journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry. The landfills, environment, it's a thing for me. So sorry. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Okay. So like, oh no. Oh no. I can't remember what I was talking about. Well, I was talking about the primer and things like that, but just kind of saying that I was putting it on. You know what? If it's important, it'll come back to me. But yeah, so when I was looking at these brushes and things like that, I'm hoping that this is going to be good. But in terms of how I'm doing my makeup right now, I am super crazy pale, like olive skinned undertone, which is a weird one. It's one of these ones where it's like you have to do a lot of color correction and things like that. So, oh, that's what I was talking about. Okay, so I have told you it would come back to me if it was important. I have a couple of really big hauls that I've been saving. I've kind of been like, anytime I buy anything, I've been like putting it in a box. And then when I got these, there was like a whole bunch of things, excuse me, that I got. And I want to do like a big old haul kind of showing them off so I can, well, use them and things like that. And so what I'm going to do is, after I sort of use this and kind of make myself look presentable enough to make a thumbnail and things like that, I'm going to film that and try to get that up hopefully within the next couple days. So yeah, if you're interested in some of the other things that I have purchased, because it's like they're 2 very, very different hauls. So one of the hauls is like a whole bunch of YESSTYLE stuff that I got, which actually most of it is Korean makeup, but more importantly, it's like I'm looking at it now. A lot of it is like more kind of makeup. I don't want to say tools, but like they have purpose. Like, some of them, don't get me wrong, there's just some like random blushes and things like that that are gorgeous, but like there's also things that I bought with like a job. You know what I mean? It's a makeup job because of like me being olive skinned, even though I'm like so insanely pale, and all the things. It's like I need certain things like primers and whatever that have that kind of undertone to actually like help my foundation match. So a lot of this stuff is kind of a different type of haul. You know what I mean? There's, for example, I think a couple of, oh yeah, and the other thing is that like I'm not into anything other than I don't do like glosses and whatever. Like I only like liquid lipsticks because I like to sort of just like set it. I like to have my makeup here and then go so that my makeup and lipsticks don't just go and die in my makeup bags all the time because that's how I am. So instead, I'd rather just have like a long wear permanent type of lipstick that I apply that goes on, and then I set it up here and I can leave that up here and then I'm good to go for the day. So that's how I tend to do things. So it's like you're not going to be getting a whole lot of glosses and things like that. There's not going to be a whole lot of eyeshadow in there, but you're going to get like weird things that people don't do, like a tone up cream that's a base that has green correctors in it. So it's a whole lot of stuff like that. And then the other one I have is an outlet one, which is like what I love to do because I am a bougie bitch, but I'm frugal. I'm not cheap, I'm frugal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want a deal, but I want the deal to actually be worth it to me and have a reason behind it. So I got there was another big haul that I got and a couple of other little bits and pieces. And a lot of it was just sort of like makeup from outlet places that I knew had a connection to the actual original, what's it called? The original brand. So it's like they were legitimate. Like they were what's it called? Like a legitimate stockist, that's it, of the company. And so they had a whole bunch of stuff on their outlet and I got a whole load of stuff from a couple of brands. And then it's like if I know that they're registered for that, it's like I know that there's other stuff on there. But again, I'm such a curious person that, I mean, that's the whole thing with the makeup brushes, right? I'm such a curious person that personally I like getting stuff that's not talked about because I want to know for myself. Like, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if that brand is anything because no one says anything. Like, you know what I mean? I want to find the hidden gems, the hidden treasures. I mean, that's the whole thing about my thing with brushes, right? So, anyways, first thing I will say about this brush is that it is putting down this foundation very, very well. It's a full coverage. This is the Max Studio Fix, but it's blended with something else to match my skin better. Um, and I will say it is doing a phenomenal job blending into my skin. It is going down into all the bits, you know what I mean? Like this kind of brush in all the ways. It's not soaking up the product, it's moving it around and putting down a really, really flawless finish. I absolutely love it. So that's one thing I'm going to say. This brush is an absolute win. Now, by the way, before I get into all of the brushes, what I will say is that when you're applying brushes and kind of going into it and using it on your face, don't all of a sudden like commit to telling yourself, oh my God, these are the best brushes of my life. Because guess what? You haven't washed them yet. Now, there are some brushes that you wash them once, you wash them twice, they're still wonderful. Then, like after the fifth time, something stops being so great. And that can partially be the way that you wash the brushes, and that's a whole nother video. But it can also be the brush itself, like really not being that good. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not washing your brushes like a crazy maniac, being like, rah, 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 and they're kind of like falling apart and whatever, that's a manufacturing not so good. So basically, I always say that the first application, that's just the first kind of like telling you what the brush is doing, telling you what the brush's story is. But it's not until you kind of wash the brushes a couple of times, not just once, but a couple of times that you really know whether or not the brush is like chef's kiss or not. So it's like some of my best brushes, the ones that I would say are my ride or dies type of brushes. Not holy grails, but just like ones that are ride or die as in like they're with me till the end, are the brushes from, by the way, all different price points, from the super expensive to the super, super cheap, that I've washed like 100 times and they still perform as well as they did the first day that I bought them. That's like the key thing. That's like the what you want. It's not something that's a given. Okay. It's not something that's like automatic. Not all created equal. Okay. Not all created equal. So yeah, by the way, hold on. Let me just try to check if what's going on. Am I live? I am live. Woo! Okay, cool. So yeah. Wait, are there people watching? Oh my God. No, not yet, but there could be. To be honest, I don't really care. I kind of wanted to do this live regardless and then put it up after because basically, one, you got to start somewhere. And two, you know what? I wanted to be able to do something where I was like, someone can see something unedited. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of more the point. I wanted to show all of this unedited. Yeah, that, because then it's like, you know what I mean? The authenticity of it, shall I say. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's an authenticity that comes from that. I like to watch a lot of Emily Baker kind of a situation, and it's like, that's, life is messy, life is gray, life is not perfect, and Alive does that, and I love it. And I'm hoping to be a long form content kind of girl because I got the gift of gab, if you haven't been able to tell already. Okay, so this was the brush, the O2. I will say, in terms of applying foundation, this is a phenomenal job. Definitely did an A+ in terms of application, at least this time. And I am incredibly impressed. However, what I will say, I also noticed, is that it does feel like a decent amount of it did pick up on the brush. Like, as in, like, not, I guess, well, some people might say, like, oh, it ate the foundation and whatever. But I also didn't put a huge amount of foundation on. Like, I didn't go crazy full coverage. That's a whole nother thing. But like, this type of brush, one of the reasons I like it is that it's supposed to be just as good, whether it's light coverage or a full coverage foundation. This kind of style of brush works for all of it, this cut, if you will, which is why it's one of my favorites. Actually, right at the minute, it probably is my favorite, to be honest. And it works on like BB creams. It works on any texture. So it's just the really universal type of styling. So yeah. So far, this one is a win. Okay, next one we're going to do is, let's see if I can find something for concealer. Because these are natural hairs, I can't use all of them for that. Okay, this is the one I think is the concealer one. So I'm going to try my best with the other ones. Because it's, the only thing is that the brushes aren't really labeled to show what, like some of them are synthetic because we're using the cream products, you know what I mean, for example. But whatever. Does it matter? Not really. Apologies if, you know, you're on my vanity at the minute. It's very private, it's very intimate. And so if there's shaking, I do apologize. Like I said, this is all the wild west of all of this stuff, and I am just starting out. But I've got things to say that are worth saying and different than other things that are out there, basically, because I watch a lot of this stuff. Okay, now this particular thing in terms of using a concealer brush, and this is the 13, which I believe is the concealer brush. Yeah. Is not my favorite, but that has more to do with, okay, what I will say is that I've used this style of brush to do this concealering, if you will, and it's doing a fine job. It's doing an absolutely fine job. It's more the fact that this is not my preferred method of doing this type of application. I prefer a kind of a fluffier concealer application, but I do then like to use it for like in here, right? Like all up in here. Oh, but I do want to say the concealer that I'm using, this one is from Glam Shop. If you are watching this and you are olive skin toned, I highly recommend you checking out Glam Shop. Yeah, Glam Shop. It's a Polish company that does, like, they're the only ones I've ever found that do olive skin toned base products and things like that that are really geared towards that, and like the whole spectrum of it, other than like EX1. But EX1 is a very limited amount of things. This one has like concealers, contour creams, highlighters, all that kind of other stuff that are more kind of tailored towards that. So, and they're like so inexpensive. Okay. Just also saying that did a fantastic job of blending in that concealer too. I mean, look at that. Look at that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty good. Okay, so yeah, that was the 13. And I'm going to pull this in for the second part of my makeup, which is the eyeshadow. Let's see. In terms of doing this, let's do it to them. Okay, so let's see. This is a blush brush. This is a contour brush. This is a powder brush. They have a very good selection of the face brushes. I like this. It's like, in my opinion, I prefer it to, you know. Okay, so this is the blush. This is the contour slash, you know, precision, whatever. This one looks more like the contour and bronzing. We'll use that for the contour and bronzing. Okay, so next I'm going to be using my contour first. Okay, that is feathery. That is airy. I wonder if I should use, hold on, let me, one moment. One moment, please. Oh, there's the, oh, I should use this one. Okay, so I'm going to use the 05. That's this one here. It's very, very soft again. All of these are very, very soft. And in terms of the actual like filling of the hairs, I guess you used to say, excuse me, like the density is very, very good. It's not too much, not too little. So if you're someone who likes that, if you're someone who likes them to be really, really stiff and really, really dense, this might not be for you. But if you're somebody who you like a super soft experience, this could be for you. So we'll see. But I'm going to do the angled one. Usually I prefer this style of brush for blush, but I'm going to use it today for contouring because I know that that's, I like tiny things. Okay, that is doing a very, very good job. I can feel that on the skin. But yeah, when I did that concealer brush, I was actually really impressed. It's like, I have nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with using that style to do your concealer, that kind of tiny brush. But it's just me personally, I prefer to do it with a softer, more blending experience. You know what I'm saying? Personally. Okay, so there's that. There's its application. Now it's very, very soft. So in terms of the pickup, I mean, when people say natural hair brushes, they talk about the pickup is the big whole thing. It's like, that's the whole thing behind it. That's the whole reason that you give a darn about natural hair brushes. And at least I'll know for sure, I'll know better with the eyeshadow brushes. I will say I don't feel as though it's doing anything more or less extraordinary, but what I will say is that in terms of at the minute, it is feeling incredibly soft on the skin. And my experience with most natural hair brushes is not that. But at the same time, right? For something like contour, you usually want a stiffer brush. And this brush set, if there was a con to it, I would say it probably would be that the entire kind of like the hairs that are used in this are uniform. For the most part, it feels very much as if the hairs that are used in every single brush are the same, which if you're doing like if you're doing a natural hair brush set, it's not really like you want to have stiffer hair for certain ones for doing shaping and things like that. You want to have sable for one or whatever. It doesn't have to be those exact ones, but the whole point is that you want the hairs to be of like a different fiber strength or fiber density to application. You don't want to have the same, and a lot of them actually have like different ones in the center than the outside. I can't say for sure. It doesn't feel like that. It feels pretty uniform all the way through. But like I said, this is a very inexpensive brush set. I think it was like $25 for the 15. Plus whatever kind of discount stuff you get from YESSTYLE. I mean, I really should put an affiliate link in case someone goes in there and buys this because of me, because that would be great to actually like help me start my channel. But like I said, still Wild West for me. Probably gonna be saying that the whole time. And so what I will say though is that it is picking up the product really well. It's not doing it badly, but is it the best experience I've had? I mean, what I'm using is a very, very light type. I'll be able to tell with the bronzer. All right, so let me check with the bronzer. Okay, so yeah, that was the 05, which is the angled brush. I do actually like this shape in general. It's one of my, I like an angled brush because it's more versatility, more flexibility. Okay, so, oh God, I need somewhere to put these brushes as I'm using them. Ha 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 ha. Okay, where'd that concealer brush go? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Okay, okay. Concealer, 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 concealer. Where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay, yes, yes. Okay, so 3 brushes down, 12 to go. Okay, so next we're going to do some bronzer. And I'm going to use this brush here. It's kind of like 03. It actually reminds me a lot. It's not as like sparse, but it reminds me a lot of the featherweight brush from Sephora in terms of the way that it's like floppy. Well, actually, no, it reminds me of the Sigma Soft Blend. Yeah, it's a lot more like the Sigma Soft Blend. I could pull it out, but you know, that would take forever. But yeah, so the 03. Let's see, what bronzer am I going to use today? I was going to be using cream, but since I'm doing all this natural hair stuff, I feel like it should be, you know, I think I have a Catrice one here. Okay, I have a Way Too Maui. This is one that I have used before. I put it away, and then I was kind of like, is this a good? Ooh, that's good. So I gave it a little twirl. It definitely seems to have done a good job. Tap, 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 tap off the excess. Let's see. Okay. What I can say is the application is beautiful for this brush. It is fluffing things out like a dream. Like a dream. Still haven't decided if this bronzer is too orange for me. It changes up so much. I mean, now it's looking fine, but like, oh, okay. Rah! My earrings are in the way. Oh, shoot. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to do my under chin. All right, let me do my under chin real quick. Like that. See, I actually use a lot more. I mean, I'm going through and doing like a fast version for y'all, but I usually do like a much more intense type of situation where I like to really blend stuff out. But you know what I mean? It's like that would be a 5-hour long video, and don't have the audience for that yet. Now, someday I would love it, but yeah. Okay. You know what? It's giving a very airbrushed effect, not a bad thing. In fact, that means it's very, very user friendly, and it would coincide with what I know about Asian makeup preferences. You know what I'm saying? The other reason why I wanted to get this is because I felt like it felt to me like the makeup that was the brush stylings and stuff like that was more, you know, marketed towards Asian preferences than you know, Western preferences. So that was another thing that intrigued me. Okay, so the other one that did my bronzer was the 03. This brush is wonderful. I definitely want to give it a wash and see, but in terms of application, it put everything on with this beautiful airbrush, kind of like, whoa, that I am here for. So let's see. We're going to do the powder brush. The powder brush is the 01, and I'm going to be using a mineral powder because I just feel like with the bronzer, I want to balance things out. So I'm using a mineral foundation, just going to pat it in. Oh, this is what it's shaped like. This is a good brush. It's very, very dense in terms of the rounded shape of it. It kind of reminds me of that Sephora one, but the weight, like with brushes like this, you can tell based on like the weight of this. So first of all, it's beautifully weighted. Oh, that's the other thing, is that these brushes are impressively weighted. Now, whether that's because of the wood or not, can't really say, but what I can say is that this brush definitely has a weight that is not just the handle. And that's another reason that you can tell like the quality of brushes. I like a hefty weight. Some people don't. Mineral foundation thing, and I like to just put it on lightly with like light coverage as a pressed powder, especially if you're like me and I'm very, very oily. But I like to put it on as a way. Oh God, that is doing an amazing job. Okay, this powder brush is the moment. I am very impressed with this. This is like BK Beauty, Lara Faye, and that is impressive. I mean, I have to see how it handles kind of a more mattifying powder, because that will really tell me a lot. But in terms of like the flexibility and like the flop, powder brushes, I like powder brushes with a good heft and a good flop. It's like because you want it to really just be that. And this is definitely being that. Ooh, I need to pick which eyeshadows I'm going to use. Ooh, I don't know what to do. See, I was using the Sephora Pro palette from back in the day and trying to kind of see if it's worth a damn nowadays. But one moment, please. Okay, I know what I want to use. I'm going to use the Muse palette. This one is from Cosmic Brushes, if you didn't know. So I live in the UK, which means I have the privilege of being able to have easy access to this one, which I'm going to take advantage of to make y'all jealous. So It's also when I know that the quality of the actual eyeshadows is very good. It's fresh, it's clean, whatever. It's good to go. I don't need to worry about it. So yeah, that powder brush, I am, yes, is all I can say. Yes and yes. Yes, 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 yes and yes. Okay, so next I'm going to do my eyeshadow. First and foremost, I'm going to take my eyeshadow base. This is a Etude House eyeshadow base. Like this one. I do like this one a lot. Unfortunately, I don't make it anymore, but there's a lot of them. I like Asian. If you're someone who has like dry lids up here or any kind of like skin issues on the actual upper part of your lid, I really recommend going for like a dry, like there's two different ones that I would recommend going for. One would be one that's like a creamy skin on the top of your eye, you know what I'm saying, that you might even actually want to set with a little bit of powder, because it's more about kind of keeping the hydration in and then worry about your shadow sticking after. Or this kind, which is like a more hydrating, sort of sticky, tacky kind of version. This one I think is very similar to the Primer Potion one from Urban Decay, where it has the silicones that make it tacky, but this one is like super inexpensive. So I highly recommend, just in general, for eyeshadow primers, like look at J&K Beauty. Do you know what I'm saying? They know what they're doing with this stuff, and a lot of their stuff is like higher quality. It's like our department store quality, but it's at drugstore prices. So if you are like me and are just kind of like a bit of a crazy weirdo when it comes to this stuff, I recommend. So I'm going to do how I like to do it, which is my eyebrows. I don't think it brought me an eyebrow brush. Did it give me an eyebrow brush? Well, it gave me an eyebrow brush for application, so I'll do that afterwards. If you can't tell, my hair is green. It is an aqua, so I am going to tint my brows to go with that. But how I like to do that first is I gel them first, let that set while I do my eyeshadow, and then go back in and kind of like tweak it. Okay, so there's that. And now we're going to go in. Okay, so now I have my pick of the litter when it comes to the eyeshadow brushes. Got some good. Let me put those two aside. Okay, so we got your usual smudge, you know, crease, all of the good ones. This one here looks like the large shadow brush. This one here looks like the shader brush. Well, these two, it's like you can see this one here is more pointed. This one here is more like dense. So this one is the one that's like slap it on kind of eyeshadow brush. This one here is like the into the, you know, kind of more shaping and blender type of brushes. We have this one here, which is the crease blender. This is a cut of brush. I'm actually impressed that this cut of brushes in this, to be perfectly honest. This is this is my favorite cuts of brushes, and it's unusual that it's in a set like this. So this actually gives it definitely some points, because it's like you can see the rounded tip like that, and the fact that it's really floppy and flexible, and the fact that it's smaller means that you get a much nicer, more like diffused crease that's deeper, especially if you have smaller eyes, and it's a lot more precision, and it blends out better, and I just think it looks so much better than the big giant fluffy eyeshadow brushes. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that part I love. We have this one here, which is like your smudger little depositor. So, ooh, by the way, the metal on the edges here, I just checked from this, is rounded. So that's another thing that I like to look out for, because if you have a brush like this and you're sort of pressing it on the face and things like that, you don't want it cutting into your skin or feeling like it hurts, or if you're pressing it into it, it's like, it's not a good feeling. So the fact of whether or not the actual ferrule here up at the top has, it's the closest thing I can just think of is to say is that it's rounded. It's just not a sharp edge. You know what I'm saying? They actually cared enough about the actual ferrule at this side to make sure that it was a blunt edge. That's what I'm trying to say. So they have done that with all of these, which I love. This one here is like your generic kind of like edge depositor brushes, and these are all short handle brushes as well, by the way. So short handles versus long handles, that's a preference thing in terms of thickness of handles as well. But also it's like, I like the long, I do, the one positive about these in general with the shorter handles is that it forces you, by virtue of its length, to not be holding it like all the way back here to like do like this, because you actually want to be like in the middle and holding it like a pencil. Really, you don't want to be up here doing like this, and you don't want to be all the way back here being like that, no control. You want to kind of be in the center. And this is supposed to kind of like ergonomically put you more in the center. So that's, I have no preference personally, but like just letting you know, that's what it's about. So yeah, this is this type of I like this brush for the creases personally. This is also another one I like for the crease. This one's more of like a diffused crease. This is more of a precise crease, and I prefer this type of precise crease to kind of the ones that are more like smaller and kind of like stubbier. And then we have also the pointed detailing one. So I'm going to make it an effort to use all of them. Let's see if I can do it. I'm gonna have to do a pretty like simple eyeshadow look that then looks complex with details. Can she do it? Probably not, but we're gonna try it anyway. Okay, so first we're gonna do the base. Yeah, so this was the one I'm gonna use for base because it's pointed, and so it gives me some precision. Let's see here. One moment, please. Purple, yes. Green. Ooh, that would be pretty. Ooh, that could be really pretty. Okay. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go in with like I'm going to go into the purples with this, right? Yeah. And I'm going to go in with some on the actual, like up here though, more of the mustardy yellows that are in here. So it's this color called Admire. Let's see about picking up on the brush. Yes, yes, and yes. Did a great job. Look how it doesn't look cakey. It's not too much, but it's also very sporadic. And you see how when it picked it up, it looks very like, I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. I'm so sorry that I'm not like, we're getting there, people, okay? We're getting there. But like, you see how it didn't pick it up in like chunky bits or anything like that? It looks very diffused. That's a very good sign. Okay, so I'm going to do this on the inner corner first and foremost. Ooh. Okay, well, I shouldn't be surprised of the eyeshadow because I knew it was good quality, but that was the whole point. It's like, okay, that was pretty good. It laid down well. It didn't seem to stick. So when I'm putting these brushes down into the eyeshadow powder, personally, I like to not really like, I don't go back and forth in my eyeshadow a lot. I don't like to kick it up like that. Like I feel like a quality eyeshadow brush really should just be able to kiss the eyeshadow and pick up a huge amount, which these are definitely doing. And so this is the 07 up there, which is like a sort of diffused pointed brush. It's like this is actually quite a versatile cut of brush, and it's one that probably gets kind of like overlooked and not really thought about very much, but it's a very good cut of brush because it allows you to kind of do precision and blending. Like it allows you to do like the crease and the blend at the same time. But this is like, I just want to do this as like the start of all things. Don't know why I went all Jennifer Coolidge, but I mean, can you blame me? Can you blame me? She's the moment. She's everything. Especially if you're me and you grew up where like you were a kid in the millennial times. Oh, Jennifer Coolidge. I mean, there was like American Pie, and then there was Legally Blonde, and then there's all the Christopher Guest movies, and you're just like, oh my God, this woman is amazing. Okay. Right, so I'm doing that first, and then I'm going to do the outer edge here. So I want to try to do that one with a different brush. Which one should I do that with? No, I'm going to do a deeper crease first. Okay, so I'm going to do the deeper crease next using a different brush because I want to try to use them all. I really do. This is the thing. So I'm going to use Sweet Pea with the 12. And this is the one that's kind of like the deeper crease brush. I'm going to use this one to kind of more do the deep creaseness. It picked up a lot. I gave that a good swirl. Now, I will say I am using a pastel pink for my inner crease because I am that pale. So just let yourself know about that about me. Oh, it's doing a phenomenal job. Okay, I'm very enjoying this. I'm very enjoying this. Doesn't need to make sense. Doesn't need to make sense. But that is very, very good. I'm very, very impressed. If these can wash really, really well, and I'll try to do an update about that, like at some point, not sure when, you know what I mean? Because it's like I'm still just getting started here. with all of this. I mean, I've been getting started if you look at my channel, but oh, by the way, if you guys could like and subscribe and everything like that, I would really, really appreciate it. I really do have a lot of like weird and interesting things to say. And so if you're a nerd for makeup, like a true nerd, like you want the behind the scenes, the structural things, that it's not just about like the new for you, like I hope that you come and you join me, and I would love to be able to have you there because that's kind of the community that I'm looking for. And I would love to have you there and share with you. So please. Okay, so that was amazing. It did an effortless job, and more importantly, it really like blended out as it swooped. And yet it did do like the deepening of the crease there. What am I gonna do next? Okay, so I'm gonna try to kind of continue the fantasy thing. Oh, and this was the 12. That was the 12 I just used. That is a good one. I really like that one. Okay, so to continue this fantasy and the story of using every single brush, I'm going to go in to do like a deeper crease, kind of like in the pocket up here. I'm going to try to do that with the rosewood. The rosewood color. One moment, please. Yes, rosewood. Okay, so this is like a this is going to be like, this is actually going to test the brush pretty well. This is a very, very dark color. It's very intensely pigmented and it picked it up beautifully, but can I blend it out well? Okay. With it being just subtle in there. This is going to definitely say whether or not this, ooh, look at that. Ooh, that's a good look. Ooh, that's a good look. Oh, that's good. Are y'all seeing this? Doesn't really matter. I hope some of you are. Oh, that is really, really nice. Okay. That did a beautiful job, which was, it's actually kind of a feat to be able to like gently pick up and then kind of dust it away and not have it be like stingy and cakey. I mean, it's also a testament to the eyeshadow, to be honest, but the brush itself too can take some cred for that, for sure. For sure. So I wanted to kind of just go like up into the pocket, pulling that up, going back down. Oof. Look at that raspberry moment. I mean, that is a raspberry moment. And it came from a very, very dark shadow. So I am all kinds of impressed with that. Let's see. I'm going to put a little bit more of the Admire. That was the mustardy buttercup shade in here. To go a little bit more in there and just kind of blend it through a bit. Ooh, okay. Oh, and another, okay, eye brushes, right? I have very, very sensitive eyes, by the way. When I say sensitive, I mean like also in terms of like reactive, but also in terms of like physically what I can feel. I'm neurodivergent, if that wasn't really obvious. But yeah, so it's like I have had natural haired makeup brushes that like, if they're not the best cut, I can feel it and it feels like putting a toothbrush on my eyelids. Other people are like, oh my God, this brush is so soft. And then I'll use it and I'll be like, it feels like a toothbrush on my eyelids. It's awful. So that's the other thing, is that when it comes to the natural hair brushes, you have to take care of them because the hairs themselves can actually stop doing that and become itchy. So that's the other thing, is that these being so soft, it's one, wonderful because it feels great on my eyes, but it's also kind of a thing of like, I really, really hope that whatever they treated this with is not something that I then have to continually treat them with. Like, it's going to be something that comes off and whatever, because they definitely did something to make that quality. Like, they gave this hair a conditioning treatment, like a heavy conditioning treatment. Whether that does anything to performance, do you know what I'm saying, is whatever. So yeah, I mean, I wish I had some of the Hakahodo, Chikahodo ones to compare this to. I mean, right now, they are performing as good as some of my top brushes. You know what I mean? And I have some ones that are not cheap. I just kind of at the minute, I've not really like, and also it's like, it's me living in the States too, in the US too. And not in the US. I live in the UK at the minute. So I'm American. So it's kind of like I don't have Beautylish and all that kind of other stuff to be able to get these brushes at the minute. So it's like I pick and choose when I go home what kind of stuff I want to buy. Usually I want to go to Ulta and get all of the drugstore stuff that I've been missing out on. That's personal preference, and I think that's okay. Okay. So I'm going to not glitter glue with these. Oh, so that brush, just repeating, that was the 11. This one here, the rounded tip one. And this particular cut of brush in general is one of my absolute favorites. It's different than the kind where it's flat. It's rounded like this, but it's also the fact that it's like a longer styled type of blending brush and thinner. So it has more of this like really nice one. It's very, very good. I highly recommend a style like this. Usually it's called a small tapered blending for if you have some, like the hooded eyes, like the 8, which is like the smudger slash depositor, the 09, which is the, how I like to call it, the expensive rich lady eyeshadows. This is the brush you want to use. The one, the satins. This is like the satins. This is the satin brush that you want to use. And then the detailer for kind of like inner corner stuff. So let's see how we do. I'm going to, okay. So for this one here, I'm going to do Whisper, which is like this. It seems like the one I want to have more densely packed. That is a beautiful pickup, by the way. That is a beautiful pickup. Ooh, that is a very good application. Okay, I'm very, God, you know what I want to do now? Because I am that nerdy, is not gonna lie, I kind of want to like get the brush, wash it all, and then find a whole bunch of other brushes in my collection, like make a matching set, and then just like side by side them. I mean, I have so many ideas of this kind of stuff that I want to do. So yeah, if you want to definitely like, without actually having to do anything, like encourage this and be like, yeah, no, I'd be so into that. Please subscribe. If not, it's okay. You know what I mean? But like, I would really love to share what I have with the rest of y'all and ideally be able to experiences back. Oh, by the way, if you are interested in liquid lipsticks, my Instagram is mainly liquid lipsticks. I'm again trying to get into doing it more as well, but like if you want some of this stuff for that, go for your life. It's there. I mean, come on. You see this, yeah? You guys see this, yeah? What is this? This is Gorge. That is a very good blend. And that was a very shimmery shadow, and that is not shadow. It's a good eyeshadow primer too. Okay, I'm going to use this one for the outer edge color, which is going to be this amethyst color, which is very bright purple. And that picks up like, I mean, these are not the shadows for this particular brush. I probably should have done like, I probably could have done some mattes with this. You know what I mean? That's the one thing about this brush that is really, really good, is that you can use it with mattes and satin types of things. But if you're trying to get some kind of real intensity, it usually is not the one. It's not the one. Chidden. Okay. I mean, in terms of blending it out, yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to take the other brush, clean it off, go in there for that purple, because that purple is just far too delicious. It is like grape juice purple, and I want it. I would like grape juice, please. And it is very creamy. So creamy eyeshadows have their own journey and own story. Have, do you know what I mean? They have their own kind of like thing to be handled and how. Oh, oh my god, I'm loving this. Okay. Okay, I'm loving that. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Okay. Because it's like I get too muchy about it and then I keep going and I could literally be doing my eyeshadow for like 5 hours. Don't. Mari, take it down. Okay, sorry. Oh my god, I love that. Do you see that like duochrome purple? Oh my god, it's so good. Okay. Okay. Shush. Shush, 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 shush. We're just gonna go in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go in there with this other purple. This amethyst color is everything. It's actually handling this kind of like creamy purple really well, this brush, this is the 08. Okay, I'm really, really impressed with this brush set officially. And I'm not just saying that. Like, I was actually like, that was kind of the reason why I wanted this brush set, is because I didn't sort of have any expectations. I was like, this could be a hidden gem. I was like, and then at the same moment, I was like, this could be hot garbage. So the very fact that I was like, I kind of knew it. I sort of felt it. I was like, this is not going to be something in the middle. This is going to be either hot garbage or a hidden gem. And I really wanted to know. Mainly because it was a natural hair brush. And I was like, what if this set has all of the awesomeness of like natural hair brushes for people, but it's like affordable? What if it's like affordable, high quality natural hair brush set? You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm also going to go in with a little bit of that rosewood to kind of just deepen up, you know? But yeah, and I saw this on YESSTYLE and I was just like, what? What is this? And I just saw about it and it was something, I think it was the handles, the wood and the handles, it didn't look cheap and trashy. And the price, I was like, how is it? I was like, that is a really good price. If they are truly like good. And it was also, I've known enough, I've seen, like, I know enough brush stuff to know that like you can have natural hair um, bristles that are not expensive and are still good. Now, does it necessarily mean that you're going to know what they are? No. Um, can you guarantee what they are? Also, no. And then, of course, there's the whole cruelty free element of it as well, which is not where I tend to put my energy towards my contributions for things like that. I tend to put it more in like recycling and things like that. Um, but that's a whole nother conversation that I'm just not really wanting to have at the minute. But yeah, so I mean, oh my god, that is gorge. I love it. Okay, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I'm really loving that. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to put in, let's see. I'm going to put the color Muse, which is like this, the duochrome pinky, whatever, with the brush that I didn't use that much, which is the 09. This is the satin brush, you know what I mean? Just to kind of like put it on there and, you know, get the, make sure I'm actually using every single one. So this is really good. This is just like, this is so, and that's the thing, is that every single one of these brushes is not scratching or itching me at all. And I love that. Love that. Oh, Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Okay, that's beautiful. Also, what I just did there, somehow magically using this palette that has no orange in it, making an orange upper eye look, and just like, what? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna put a little bit of sweet pea though, like right there. Hold on. This is just me with my too muchness being too much, and I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Oh, this is so yummy. I don't even know if it's the right way to put it, but it reminds me of like marmalade and jelly and ugh, it looks like peanut butter and jelly. Ah, it's gorgeous. Okay, so yeah, that was the '09, '09, the '08. And then finally we have the 10. Just going to do my inner corner here. The color Luster. Picked it up beautifully. And my inner corner is where I'm the most sensitive to any kind of itching. Nothing. There's no itching at all. Oh, these brushes better wash. Oh, these brushes better wash well. Because these are like, that was the other thing is that like I was like, I do like the way that natural hair brushes pick up compared to, you know, synthetic. I do think that they do tend to pick up a little bit better. But do I also think that synthetic is catching up a heck of a lot more than people might have thought? Yes, I do. Um, I think that there's the gap between the difference is becoming smaller and smaller by the year, you know? So, yeah, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Oh my God, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way around. This is a great, okay, I love this brush for under my eye. I do love the fact that it's pointed. It's more of like a calligraphy type of point to it, you know what I mean, at the tip, rather than the ones that are more rounded, kind of like the opposite of the taper blending brush, you know what I'm saying? Because this type of brush can also do really well at getting in the inner corner here. It's like it can double as like a pencil brush and a blending brush. Do you know what I'm saying? Like for the like a buffing brush type of thing for detailing. It's a good cut. It's a very, very good cut. And this is not a generic cut, I can tell. Like if this was a more generic kind of cut and choice, then it would, how do I put this? BH Cosmetics, okay? BH Cosmetics has two different types of brush sets. They have the brush sets that are the good ones, and then the ones that they seem like they took a stock catalog and just went, that one, go for it. And it's, you can tell because the brush cuts are just very, very generic and have absolutely no thought behind them. You know what I'm saying? Um, or if like someone took a picture of a brush and then tried to make a brush that looked like that picture. You know what I'm saying? This is not that. I will say this is not that. Okay, so this look is phenomenal. I have, in fact, used all of the eye brushes to do this. I'm going to now use the other. I have 4 brushes left from this set. Wait, no. No, 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 no. Sorry. That was the wrong brush. So I have the lip brush, this brush, which I'm actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one for my liner and then this one for my brows because I don't really use lip brushes. And then these 2 brushes for blush and then highlight. And then I'm done. So actually, first of all, I will say this brush set is incredibly complete in term for me anyway, and how I do my makeup. This is incredibly complete. Most brushes for me are not. Most brushes for me are not. Just in terms of the cut and what types of brushes. Always one where I'm like, I'm not using it for that. The fact that there's literally a brush for every single step of how I do my makeup, which is usually similar to how most people do it, but you know, my own special twist on it, is great. And then the fact that on top of that, I'm actually able to do that is great. So let's see how this does, this lip brush slash gel liner brush does with gel liner. But yeah, that is, I'm actually really impressed by that. I really thought I was going to have to kind of like goof through one of them, you know what I mean, to kind of like fake it. Maybe one of the eyeshadows, like I could have taken one less of the eyeshadow brushes probably, but the brushes that are there are a comprehensive collection of every type of eyeshadow that someone's going to use. So there's that, like the fact that there's one for every different type of style is actually incredibly impressive. Okay, can she do it without looking like an absolute fool on camera? You know how I'm going to be able to do it is by just not trying to do it and then just kind of being like, psh, 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 psh. Yep. You know, that way, I mean, it is one of those things. It's like when you're rushing through it, then suddenly. Oh, and by the way, as expected, this is doing a really great job. This is doing a really great job. This is actually like making this gel liner really, really easy. Whoops. Oh my God, the first time I've gone quiet this entire stream. Oh no. Don't leave. Like and subscribe. No, but it's kind of just like I'm focusing and trying to not get this in my eye. You know what I'm saying? That's the one, like one of the best not first attempts, but like first just diving in with a liner. I mean, I'm not going to do it perfect because like I said, I'm not trying to have this take forever, even though if it is, but anywho. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the eyebrow brush. So that did a phenomenal job, didn't it? Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry. There's going to be a shake for a second, y'all. Apologies for that. Okay, so I'm going to get the powders that I use for my brows to color them in. I'm going to use my brow pencil first. I have it kiss the sides to do the arch cheek Ferdinand bar. I was going to say band name call it, and then I was like, Franz Ferdinand is already, wait, that's not something, ignore that. That is just the goof proofness of this, of unfiltered insanity. Okay, then kiss the sides. Burp. So yeah, also the way that I do my brows ensures that your brow gel doesn't get all gunky and cloudy and get makeup all through it, really. Because I make sure that I do the brow gel first and then color it. So I do that first for the underneath to kind of give it the shape. I have the chic shape, or the shape for people that have big round faces, whatever. Take the light shadow here. I have 2 green eyeshadows, and I just do some little hairs here. Ooh. You know what? Probably, I would say, maybe that's the weakest out of the bunch, but not really. It's like a bunch of brushes that I don't want to say that because again, I don't want to say anything like in terms of definitively like I must go out and get this before I've washed them. I feel like that's kind of being not doing due diligence, if you will. And so I'm not doing that. But yeah, so I like to put the little hairs first of the lighter teal color going through because, you know, my roots are dark. And that's kind of why I do it, is to make it look more quote unquote natural, despite it being aqua. And then I take a dark teal color and I go deep into the arch of my brow. And then and then like the gel that's in there kind of then becomes like a brow wax, if you will, um, depending on the kind you use. If you are using the, what's the one I love? The Benefit one, the one that's like super hard gel because I have like the thick hairs. I love using that one. When I do that one is like a freeze brow kind of a situation. But the one I use today that I'm just trying to kind of use up, I don't think I'd repurchase it, is the Control Freak from NYX, which is kind of more like a brow wax had a baby with a brow gel. So when I'm doing that, then when I go in with this brush, I can kind of like lay down all of that biz going on in there. Ooh, and I love it. I mean, look at that. That is a snatched brow that surprisingly looks natural considering it's teal. I love that stuff because that is me all over. So the ash normal, quote unquote, normal color of my like true color of my brows that I put down underneath, when you put that in there with the pencil, with the colored brow powder in there, then you end up having a blend of both that then makes it look more like authentic and realistic, if you will. And it's not, you're not trying to trick the eye. It's just you're trying to kind of be like, this is natural to have. Like if you had green eyebrows that were dyed green, there would be a certain amount of brown in there because of just like the hair growth, just like in the hair that's currently on my head with that. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of the vibe that I go for. Ooh, you know what I'm also going to do actually is I'm going to take that concealery brush from the beginning and I'm going to go in there and do the archway of that area, that place thing up top. So taking a little bit of concealer. Let's see. Because these types of brushes, this tends to be how I prefer to use them as like a way to clean up, but they're good for both. I was actually impressed by how well that laid down my concealer, not gonna lie. Did not expect it to be that good. Ooh, I like that, right? That's yummy. Okay. Oh God, I know you stop saying yummy. Stop it. Don't do it. Okay. That is good. And so by the way, I don't like snatching the top of my brow. Personally, I don't like putting concealer around it just because this to me makes it look clean. I feel like putting the concealer on the top makes it look kind of abnormal. And I get that people do it for Instagram and things like that, but I just don't think it looks unnatural. Do you know what I'm saying? And not in like the cool, like, by unnatural, I mean like plastic. Do you know what I'm saying? I like it to look snatched, but like attainable. I want it to look like you look at it closely and you're like, why does this green brow look not like a freakish thing of nature? That's my vibe. That's my goal in terms of doing all this. Okay. So we're going to do a pink peachy blush. Apologies for the shaking. Apologies for the shaking. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me just find it. I think this is the vibe. Is this the vibe? I don't know if this is the vibe. That might not be the vibe. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to use a Physicians Formula blush because I get to do what I want. Okay, so this is the Mauve Matte's Matte Moi Butter Bronzer. Blusher, sorry. Yeah. I like this one because it's sort of like, it's like all the colors in there. So you can either just like pick the one you want or swirl it all together to have a sort of just taupey love fest. So I'm going to put it a bit more in the orangey one with the mauve as a base. Okay, that is a very good blush brush, by the way. Specifically, I can just tell. That picked that up very, very well. Again, this better freaking... Because I have ones that are shaped like this. It's more compared to say like, yeah, you could use this one for contour and you could use this one for bronzer for sure. But what makes it kind of, in my opinion, more blushy is the fact that it's softer and also more rounded at the tip. It's a little less precise. Um, but again, this has to do with just how I personally like to do my makeup, which is I like having a brush for a thing, and it's more the way that my brain kind of processes stuff. Okay, I'm gonna need some pink in there. That is far too peach for my skin. I mean, it looks gorge. I love it, but I'm gonna do that for the upper cheek. Okay. But by the way, this is a very light, I mean, it's pigmented enough. Like it's not a crazy pigmented bronzer, not bronzer, blush, but it is like pretty pigmented. It's not, sorry, it's not that pigmented. Goodness me. And it feels like it's picking up like the max. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's giving it more. Ooh, look at that cheek. Woo! Loves it. Okay. Oh, that is a cheek. That is a cheek. Okay. So then I'm going to go in with this bit with some pink. Benefit Dandelion, I think. Yeah, this is the original. I've had it for ages. I love using it. Again, if you are someone who is a deeper complexion, this is actually still a really good pastel blush, believe it or not. And how I do, if you're someone who has like a really rounded face like mine, I love using pastel blushes. Just, it's a whole thing of blush placement, but I like using really, really pastel blushes. It's to help kind of like add this bit to be more of like a highlight pop, but with a lot less pigment, and it helps blend through the actual pigment on the side to be more like complementary. You know what I'm saying? Like more simpatico. So for me, I can use this as like an all over face thing pretty much to kind of give my face a bit of a rosy glow. But don't sleep on Dandelion just because it seems like it's a white girl blush or a white girl color, because it also can be a really beautiful pastel color. Because I mean, I have pastel blushes that people get to use on their bits up here, and that is not how I use them. I use them for, as you are seeing right now. Ooh, I need some more pink on there. Hold on. Hold, please. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. I have no idea how this is looking on camera. It could be looking like absolutely nothing or god awful. I can't wait to see. It's going to be so exciting. Apologies for the shaking. Okay. Let's see. Diamond. Okay, so I am using my old school best super, super blinding highlight, which is the Burberry in white. This is in the Fresh Glow highlighter in number 1. I'm going to pick the shit up out of that. It's old school. You can't get it anymore. It's an institution. And I'm using the 06. Oh, what was the blush brush? The blush brush, just in case you get this set, the blush brush is the 04. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, I do like this highlight brush, the 06, because it does a good job picking up the product and blending it out. So sometimes, by the way, if you're someone who maybe has textured skin and you love a highlight, but you know, some highlighters kind of don't pick up and then don't look that great, try using a different brush for application and blending. So like I like to use a brush maybe like this to kind of apply it down, and then using a fan brush, which is not in this set, to kind of like pull it down, you know, to blend it out. It's going to give you a much more diffused look, and it's going to kind of pick up excess, while this one is going to kind of be a little bit more like you got to be precise with it. But this is a fantastic for highlighting. This is doing a really, really great job. This is actually, this makes me feel like I can actually get rid of some brushes that I'm losing, or falling out of favor, if you will. Oh my God, I can't believe we're almost done. Okay, I'm going to put on some mascara. I don't really feel like, for all of this and how long this has already been, y'all need to watch me struggle to put on my lashes. I mean, I don't struggle to put them on, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like having to mess around with all that, that's going to be a whole to-do that I didn't prep for. So, and it's not exactly like there's stuff for that, right? But I mean, come on. Come on. Look at this. This is gorge, right? Absolutely gorge. Okay. That was the last brush. Oh my God. That was the 06. So I'm going to put on some mascara real quick. I've been doing it on camera because you know what? Fuck it. Play stupid games. You know what I mean? She asked for it and then totally got it right in the eye. Can you believe it? Yes, yes I can. Why? She fucked around and found out. That's why. But I am dying. I'm just like absolutely loving this PB&J eye look. And I can't believe that I got this intensity. I mean, part of it is the shadows were amazing, but I can't believe I got this kind of intensity and everything like that. With those brushes and not even any glitter glue. It picked it up so freaking well. Like I knew it was going to be like a one or the other kind of a situation, you know what I mean? I knew it was going to be either I was going to be just like blown away or absolutely appalled. I need to get my money back. And I have to say, so far, if they wash well and they end up the same way, yeah. Okay, I think my phone's about to die. Yeah, I think my phone's about to die. Okay, so I'm gonna go. This has been amazing. This is awesome. I love this. These, all these things. This is the finished look. These are the brushes that I used here. This is them. They are phenomenal so far. I need to wash them though. But yeah, I will give an update to this. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you feel like you want to kind of join me on this journey of my ridiculous number of brushes and see all about them. And hopefully, yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye.